We're looking at the plan of the six-time bankrupt Donald Trump for the economy. Obviously, there's going to be lots of fiscal responsibility. We will see.
We're taking a closer look at President Trump's joint address to Congress. Steve Ratner is back with fact checks. First up, President Trump doubled down on one of his biggest campaign promises, which is making his 2017 tax cuts permanent. Watch.
We're seeking permanent income tax cuts all across the board. And to get urgently needed relief to Americans hit especially hard by inflation, I'm calling for no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security benefits for our great seniors. And I also want to make interest payments on car loans tax deductible, but only if the car is made in America.
So, Steve, you say that's impossible to do with the House Republicans' budget proposal.
Just very quickly, you've heard the commitments from Trump's mouth himself, and now we're going to break down the cost of each element, and also he's going to go into what the actual budget is. 4.5 trillion. We'll see how that works out.
At some point, you got to deal with the reality of what that all adds up to. Chickens are coming home to roost on that. So he's talking about no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime, no tax on tips, no tax on interest loans on cars made here. These are billions and billions of dollars of tax cuts. Simply extending his existing tax cuts, the ones that he passed in 2017, down here would cost over $4 trillion.
Let's not just skip over that. So the existing tax cuts are this element here in red. It's just over $4 trillion. And the total budget is $4.5 trillion. So if you look at the next one, no tax on Social Security, obviously we're looking at approximates. It's going to be about just over another trillion. No tax on overtime, looks like just under $1 trillion. Zero interest on loans for cars, which are built in the US. That looks like 100 billion. 15% corporate tax from domestic industry. That looks around 500 billion. So he's got 4.5 trillion, 4,500 billion in total. This six-time bankrupt man is going to blow through that budget, which means more debt on America for now and generations. One of his promises was to remove government debt, and he's obviously got absolutely zero intention of doing that. Just an outright lie. How can he get the figures this wrong? Let's go.
$4.5 trillion for all the tax cuts. So you could do this, which he's completely committed to, but how the rest of this happens, including a full deduction of the state and local taxes, it is impossible. This is almost $8 trillion worth of tax cuts. Can't happen, won't happen.